Yeah, so all that vitamin B12 in the rain, why not step out into the rain today and, get your dose of B12? Okay, so that's another conversation for another day. Maybe our nutritionist can give us more insight on that. But the topic we're about to discuss now is a delicate one. The issue of domestic abuse, domestic violence, is one that's been prevalent in so many news stories over the years, and we hear about it, but do we understand exactly what it is? Hopefully, we'll be able to break it all down today. Mr. Adenrile Onikosi is here. He is the founder and CEO of Congelix Consulting International. It's a company dedicated to people transformation. He's also a publisher, author, trainer, and advocate, weaving a tapestry of leadership excellence through diverse avenues. Today, discussing domestic abuse and violence when it comes to the role of family and religion. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me again today.
So, this is a topic that comes back sometimes seasonally. We hear about these cases, and then sometimes they die down, and then sometimes even more worse cases come about. Let's sort of define what domestic violence and domestic abuse are all about.
Yeah, thank you. So, domestic abuse is also known as intimate partner violence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Intimate partner violence. So it's not just
IPV.
Married couples we're talking about here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So people in intimate relationship.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, you've seen people who aren't married being abused by maybe their boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, So, and it's a pattern of behavior from one partner who is trying to gain and maintain control and power over the other.
Okay, control and power.
Over the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's not just to gain and maintain it.
Gain and maintain power over
and
the other.
Control.
So now I've taken note of the fact that you haven't put gender into this.
No.
Because it can, of course, happen both ways.
Yes, it does. It does.
So I know you've had conversations with many different couples and families on this. We're talking about the issue of family and religion here.
Yeah.
Which is the stronger party in this case? Because a lot of people stay in these abusive relationships because of family and religion.
Yeah. Okay, so, because, again, every time we have this conversation, we need to contextualize it, right, within the framework of our culture. And it plays a major role. Like I said, it happens across, the gender divide, yeah, such that a man can experience abuse, a woman can experience abuse. And there are four forms of the abuse, right? So you have the physical violence, you have sexual assault, you have financial threats, right? And then you also have emotional abuse.
Okay.
So now whatever anyone experiences will fall under one or even all of these, forms of abuse. Okay, so yeah.
I know that the most common that you could probably see would be the physical abuse.
Yeah.
But the emotional abuse is also a very strong one.
Yep.
Can we touch on that, please?
It's huge. So the emotional abuse comes in forms of insults, verbal abuse.
Okay.
You don't see that physically, but people are experiencing a lot of, let me use the word, they've been damaged mentally and emotionally. So self-esteem is being eroded, and confidence and all of that, they just go away.
So, of course, because we're pressed for time, we have to go quickly into why the family is such an important factor in cases like this, especially since they're the observers.
Yeah. So the point is, families that really want things to work well, the first thing they want to do is to not take sides.
Okay.
Because it's not about side. You have two people that came together from two separate families who say we want to be one. So we give you our daughter, we welcome you into our home as a son, and all of that. So the role of the family should be that of mediation.
Okay.
What happened? Is this something that can be resolved? And the other thing is, people involved or experiencing domestic violence need to speak up and get help. Now, religion can do a lot better than it has done if the leaders within that get educated about it and not be emotional or naive about the issue. Because I've seen this over. Somebody raised this issue, maybe with their pastor. This is what I'm explaining. You say be praying. Look, don't talk about praying. I'm being physically, abused, beaten, right? Emotionally. Some is financial threat, right? The husband threatens you with withdrawing your allowance.
Okay.
And probably you are a homemaker, a full-time housewife. And that's a job on its own. I think people need to also understand that. It's probably tougher than going out to the office to work, right? To manage the home. It's a lot. Okay, so when such people come, don't say go and pray. God will do it. No, that's not what we're saying. Practical solution. So such, a religious leader needs to get trained, needs to get equipped on how they can help their members. Because people will keep deferring to them. We're religious people around here. There's nothing you say, they'll keep going back. And then also look for professionals that can help.
So in other words, what we're talking about now is maybe having religious leaders speak to professionals or have professionals speak to their congregation on these matters.
Very well.
Yes, we do understand that God is a major factor in this case where there's nothing that God cannot do. However, having practical steps put in place to help the situation is important.
It is.
So now, what about families who are...
Can I say,
go ahead.
God is not responsible for people's behavior. I mean, at some point, people need to be responsible for their actions. Yeah, there's a God factor. But are you making steps, effort, to be a better man, a better woman, to change? So God is not responsible for your either bad behavior. No. I just wanted to...
No problem with that. I'm actually trying to think of what could be the cause of this bad behavior. Where is this violence coming from?
Okay, so there are several places, but quickly because of time.
Yeah.
Some from the nurturing background, how they were raised. That's right. So we have parents now who raise children to be entitled.
Okay.
It's either their way or the highway. And then you hear, oh, it's just a child, don't worry. No, it's not a child. It's from being a child, you need to start at, correcting that. Okay. And some people have a history of violence. And some people manifest it as a sign of mental health issue.
So we obviously can't go too deep into this further, but when families hold or make a spouse stay in those kinds of relationships, honestly, this conversation can't go on now. I would love to hear from our audience on this one. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and tag us WakeUpNigeria TVCE. And hopefully we can continue this conversation next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's take a quick break. We'll be standing by for your thoughts and we'll be back after this.